Yeah, but we're gonna do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't show me yet. I'm not gonna look.
Yeah. I don't know, hopefully it is the right answer, but, awesome, awesome.
You guys all set? I'm good. In the way.
I'll move, make sure everybody turns their mics on.
Put it here.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members had an executive session prior to this meeting. and we were discussing legal, personnel, and real estate matters. We have a recording device here for purposes of taking minutes for the meeting. And we are also still piloting our live stream. Stephanie, is that pretty accurate?
Should be good.
Okay, great. Let's go to the approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular Board of Supervisors meeting minutes on December 10th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion made by Supervisor Dara Hennessy and it's seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make another motion to approve the reorganization meeting minutes that was held on January 6th, 2025.
I will second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Dara Hennessy and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Any comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All good? Peter, would you like to give the treasurer report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to take a look at the report, which the president highlights, accounts of cash balance, at 12/31/24.
Peter, is your mic on? I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Is that on, Bill? Just like-
There we go. Red dot. I will begin again. Welcome and Happy New Year to everyone on the board and in the audience. Good news, for the year ended December 31, 2024, our cash balance in all accounts township-wide is up $660,000 over what where we were last year. We're at just over $5 million. Currently, in all cash accounts at the end of the year, I guess 14 days ago, we were at 4.362 million the prior year. So we had a very solid year. The general fund, which is our general operating accounts, where just about everything gets spent and deposited. Nice year, positive variance on the income side of almost $578,000. We were over budget on the income side, and we're under budget by $273,000 on the expense side. A lot of the income variance was caused by our real estate transfer tax. The sales value of the properties here in the township remain very strong. That's $143,000 over budget. The interest income, by moving the money by your direction, we've moved the money into Pliget, get higher interest rates. Between the parks and the general fund interest income, we were $82,000 over budget, which is just a great number. Really did well on the interest income. The good news is, if there is good news on the interest rate front, the Fed did drop the rates twice last year, but the 10-year bond went up. So it doesn't look like they're going to be knocking down interest rates again in the near future. They had projected maybe 5. So for savers, it's a good thing, right? Interest rates will remain high. And we're savers right now. On the permit side, between our building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and zoning, another strong year, $91,000 over budget on the total of those 3. Our recreational fee in lieu, between our Bethel Ridge and our 1731 Garnet Mine, we're almost $84,000 over budget on that income. And then we moved all of the remaining ARPA money into the general fund. That was $578,000. So that created a real strong year for us from that perspective. Moving into the trash fund, we ended up pretty good. We ended up $45,000 over where we thought, almost entirely because of our interest income. We moved money into Pliget in that fund as well. So we're $13,000 over budget there. And our solid waste collections, we're surprising almost $40,000 over where we had anticipated. When we do our budgets, we calculate what 100% would be. We come in around 95%. It looks like we were pretty close to 100% collections because our collections put to budget were both over 100% were in the sewer and the trash in the general fund. So we really did well in collections. Ed, Flasha, well done. With that, I conclude my report.
Thanks, Peter. I do have a question for you. I know several months ago, we were doing some cascading changes to our obligate accounts
Right.
for different interest rates. So when's the next time we're making selections on expiring?
I have that in my calendar. I
Okay.
know when they're gonna mature, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay,
I
yeah.
could get you that information.
It's not something urgently, just as
Yeah.
long as the board gets a heads up, that we're going to be
Oh,
looking into
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. What we'll do, we try to do it, ladder it, I think was a proper
Right.
term. So, as they come due, we'll take a look at the options and, consider what we think the interest rates are going to be in the future, and then, select or suggest selections accordingly.
Great. Thank you,
And then
Peter.
You're welcome.
Peter, before you go,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to create a new account for the EMS fund.
Right.
I know we talked about that last year. Were you anticipating putting any of that in Pliget? I know we talked about, or just an interest bearing account or what, like, was there any?
Yeah,
In your projections?
absolutely. I mean, the more than likely that'll be a money market account, nothing termed out for longer term. But those rates are still above 4, probably their prime, which is their best yielding account, is probably close to 4.5. They've all come down, right? They've all come down over the last, 15 or 16 months, from mid 5s to mid 4s. But 4 years ago, they were in the 2s, and we thought that was great, right? So we've doubled what we were 4 years ago. So yes, we'll take advantage of that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would assume
I'll
the
make a
same
note of
for trash too, because we're doing a flat collection, but we have a increase in cost. So,
We already have.
yeah. Oh, it's
We
already.
already have, yeah, we're in Pliget and trash.
Oh, perfect.
We're in Pliget in every fund.
Okay.
Where we can be. Yeah,
Thanks, Peter.
you're welcome.
All right. With that, I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer report, pay all bills, and release relevant escrows.
Second.
There's a motion and a second by Supervisor Darrenesen. Any comment from the board? From the public? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so the next items on the finance report, the first one is the Kroll bond rating. As I understand it, the Bethel Sewer Authority they're doing debt servicing through guaranteed sewer revenue notes, and the township is a guarantor on those notes. So there's an evaluation by Kroll on the viability and health of the financial prospectus for the township. And we received an A+ rating in that regard, mostly due to the strong cash balance that we have and no real obligations. So just reporting that. Is there any comments from the board on that finding? I think you'll find the report was in the packet. Peter, please.
Taxpayers, consider new taxpayers moving in and out. Nothing drastic has occurred. And because of the strong tax base, we again got an A+, which if we were to go borrow or guarantee a debt, the rate that we would pay would be very important because of that. So it's a great rate, great rate.
Great. Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome.
Okay. The next item on the list is to identify and appoint a deputy tax collector. So the reason for this is that if for some reason our tax collector cannot continue their duties, we need to have somebody on staff that can perform that. With that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dr. William Madison as the deputy tax collector.
Second.
There's a motion, a second by Supervisor Darrenesen. Is there any comments from the board or from the public?
I endorse Ed's not going anywhere.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
He's gonna get drafted by the NFL, man. Come on.
The next item is taxes. Mr. Plasher, would you like to go first?
Just wanted to pass out a copy of the tax bill. I just got the draft yesterday from the printer. We made the modifications. We moved the stub to the top. Normally it was at the bottom, but the big thing is in the middle. We had the township millage 0.899. The fire slightly up at 0.086. Library stayed the same, 0.027. trash fee at 480, and then the EMS. It had to be in this order because that's how the historical data is in the software program. The EMS is 0.361, so that totals up to 1.373 mils, and then everything else calculates across. So just want you to see this. It's going to go to the printer this week, and they'll be mailed February 1st. So you don't have to approve anything, but if you have any comments, let me know by tomorrow or Thursday. All right? That's it. So
Sounds
I'll be
good.
closing out and submitting the tax claim in the next couple of weeks. We'll close out 1 year and start the next. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Mr. Flesch also sent in his report. So during the month of December, there were 17 invoices collected for 2024 taxes. The total tax collected for December was $15,406.06, and that was remitted to the township in one installment. As of December 31st, 2024, 3,511 tax bills were collected out of 3,568, which is 98.4%, compared to 98.68% in the prior year.
You're down a little bit there, Ed?
Yeah, I guess, but after got a couple more, I had 2 yesterday.
I'm kidding.
But it'll always be about the same, but it was a little bit higher. It was surprising by a couple of bills.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the reports for public safety. Supervisor Darren Hesse.
Okay. Chief, would you like to make the report?
Good evening.
During the month of December 2024, the police department answered 638 calls. They were divided into 57 medical emergencies, 14 alarms, 68 traffic stops, 38 citations, 6 domestic disturbances, 21 crashes, 8 thefts, 2 fraud investigations, 221 building and development checks, 18 suspicious vehicles and persons. We had 1 death investigation, 2 municipal ordinance violations, and 180 miscellaneous calls for service. The latest scams going around, as if this is going to be a surprise to anyone, but the latest scams going around are for the victims of the wildfires in California and also for domestic animals that have been affected by the severe weather and also the fires throughout California. While some of these calls that you may receive may in fact be legitimate, I would tell you, obviously, do not give any bank or credit card information out over the phone, and never make any donations via any type of a gift card. As soon as they ask for any type of a gift card, that's a scam, period, automatically. That whilst if you do wish to, obviously, a lot of people like to make donations to worthy causes. If you do wish to make a donation to any one of these causes, I would encourage you to go to the website, such as the American Red Cross or any other agency that you can actually look up a well-known website, and you can obviously make donations through that. And again, I would just encourage everyone, be situationally aware of where you are, what's around you, who is around you at all times. And if you see something that you think, gee, that's not right, or something's off about that, dial 911 no matter where you are and report that incident or whatever the case may be.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
With that, I think we can move on to, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the employment of Darren Smith as a Bethel Township Police Officer at a rate of $28 per hour, subject to a 1-year probation period.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Darren Hesse and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. I'm sorry, let's have discussion. Is there any discussion on that from the board or from the residents? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I would also like to make a motion to ratify the purchase, setup, and configuration of a new police department Windows 2022 server system at a cost not to exceed $7,295.
I will second that. So there's a motion made by Supervisor Darren Hesse and seconded by Supervisor Denny. Just for a point of clarity for the residents, just can you give an explanation of why we're purchasing a new server system?
Sure. So this one was 2022. It was no longer being able to update or have any of the security. So I think it also pretty much stopped functioning. So we need to purchase a new one to get them back up and running.
Great, thank you. Is there any comment from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Supervisor D'Agostino?
Yeah, Chief Heacock, you have a report this month. Thank you.
For December, we had 76 calls for service. For the year, 549. It's probably our highest year ever in responses. 31 calls in Bethel Township. We had 8 fire alarms, 10 EMS assists, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 2 building fires, 2 assist to PD, 2 PICO emergencies, 1 carbon monoxide, 2 gas leaks, and 1 brush fire. 45 mutual aid assignments, 7 to Congerville, 11 to Upper Chichester, 8 to Tallyville, 2 to Brandywine 100, 3 to Marcus Hook, and 14 to Claymont, one of which Stephanie rode along to. And 1 drill for a month. So that's really all I have. Well, we did have 18 members make more than 10% of the alarms, which 10%, that's 55, basically 55 calls for the year. That's a pretty good amount of time to give up. So that's about it. That's all I really have.
Thanks, Chief. Look forward to working with you and the rest of the people at Bethel Hoops.
Look forward to working with you too.
Yep. That's all I have.
Thank you. Supervisor Agostino. Emergency management? Supervisor Iacono?
So the December report, there were no events of major injury or property damage. Our EMC coordinator attended the Delaware County Quarterly Emergency Management Meeting and has been working on getting the EMS unit information all updated in the county system. The year-end report for the emergency management, 4 events occurred where Township Emergency Management was notified and or was part of the planning mitigation. 16 meetings were attended with community partners surrounding towns and Delaware County Department of Emergency Services, and 18 classes were attended. He is currently working on upgrading his PEMA Emergency Management Coordinator certification. He's 3 classes away from being a professional level on that. So good work, Ray, for the year. That concludes the emergency management report. With that, we have a mutual aid agreement for emergency management coordination. This is if we need some assistance from surrounding municipalities, and if the county cannot provide that additional assistance, we can reach out to partners who are part of this agreement, and they would provide assistance to us pending their availability for a small hourly fee. So with that, I would like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-06, approving a mutual aid agreement for emergency management coordination.
I second. So motion made by Supervisor Iacono and seconded by Supervisor Denny. Any,
Ray is also here if there's any questions.
yeah, is there any discussion from the board on this? Or from the public? Ray, would you like to make any comments?
Obviously, we would prefer if no events occur in the township, but if and when they do, this is just another tool in the toolbox, just another option for any unmet needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll move on to the highway report for December. The crew was out on the main roads in the townships throughout the development, trimming trees in the right of way. A reminder to residents to help to keep the vegetation trimmed back of roadways for your safety and the safety of others. 12 storm drains were cleaned and repaired. Service car number 5 and 7 of the police department and truck number 3. Winterized trucks cleaned them up and touched up paint on the bodies and frames. Cleaned and touched up the paint on the backhoe and loader. Received and stacked 50 tons of salt for the upcoming storm events. Cleaned and returned the rented chipper that they used. Removed the fallen tree from Sound Farm Lane. The buildings and grounds report, they installed a monitor in the Myers Executive Room used for our supervisor meetings, cleaned up the area in the salt shed to make a better appearance, built and replaced our new chairs here in the Myers building as well as in the police department, and had the heater in the administration building repaired. That concludes the facilities reports.
Thank you, Supervisor Iacono. All right, on to the board reports. The first one being Parks and Recreation. So this is, they haven't yet been able to meet in January. That will be tomorrow. But the big item is identifying the dates for the events for 2025. So I was going to read those into the record briefly. The Easter egg hunt is scheduled for April 5th with a rain date of April 12th. Fireworks are scheduled for July 3rd with a rain date of July 5th. The corn boil is scheduled for August 24th with a rain date of August 31st. Movie night is targeted for September 13th with a rain date of September 20th. And Lunch with Santa is December 6th, and it's indoors, so there's no rain date. Again, the meetings will be tomorrow and the second Wednesday of every month, open to the public in this building, 7 p.m. In addition to that, there are 2 appointments that I would like to make a motion for to round out the board of 9 members on the Parks and Rec Board. So I'd like to make a motion for the appointment of new Parks and Recreation Board member Vincent Parm, term to expire January 2027.
Second.
There's a motion, a second by Supervisor Derhinessian. Is there any discussion about Mr. Parm or I guess Ms. Elbel? I think the resumes were in there. These were candidates interviewed by the board and then voted on by that board in the December meeting. Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then a motion for the appointment of new Parks and Rec Board member Julie Ebel, term to expire January 2027.
Second.
Motion made, seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Zoning, Supervisor Derhinessian.
Thank you. So the Bethel Township Zoning Hearing Board report for December 2024. The board had nothing on the agenda in December. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. And at this time, the board will be considering the following requests. I think this one is 2024-14 or 13. Yes, application of Josh Boson for property located at 1212 Namans Creek Road. Property is vacant, a vacant lot, and applicant feels it is unbuildable for a residential dwelling due to a high water table. Applicant has a home remodeling business and is seeking relief from Bethel Township Zoning Ordinance 182, Section 601, and is proposing to erect a structure to be used for an office and indoor storage of tools and equipment. And then the other request is 2024-15, application of John Paul. I don't know. 1577 Spring Meadow Lane. Applicant is requesting a special exception from Bethel Township Zoning Ordinance 182, Section 602.8.h, or a temporary variance from Section 601 in order to allow an existing accounting office to continue until a new office is constructed in an adjoining township. There will be a brief reorganization meeting before the regular meeting, and that was submitted by Gary Lanahan, who I don't think is in it. Oh, hi. Anything to add?
Yeah, that covers it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that completes my report.
Thank you. Supervisor Iacono, Planning Commission.
Thank you. Planning Commission met on January 8th and held a reorganization meeting. Lou Torrieri was reelected Planning Commission Chairman. Congratulations, Lou. Ken Lagan was reelected as Vice Chairman. And they confirmed the Planning Commission 2025 dates for the first Wednesday of every month at 7, with the exception of the October meeting, which will be held on October 8th in observance of Yom Kippur. The item on the agenda for the 1420 Conchester Daycare, the applicant submitted plans just a little bit too late, so the township engineer did not have a chance to review them. He is working on reviewing plans and hoping to have his review by the February meeting. Lou, do you have anything you want to add?
No, that's it. Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Supervisor D'Agostino.
Thank you. The Bethel Township Sewer Authority met on January 2nd, 2025. The only highlights we have here is the Powell Road Pump Station upgrade, looking to put bids out in spring of 2025. And the smoke testing that was done, looking to do some repairs, about 75% complete on those repairs from the smoke testing. Anything additional, Donna? Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Education.
No Garnet Valley School Board report was submitted, but for the Rachel Cole Library, they had a banner year this year, and they were able to tally that Bethel residents downloaded 13,210 ebooks and audiobooks. Additionally, 3,047 magazine articles were accessed. In the new year, they'll be partnering with the Alzheimer's Association of Delaware County to offer workshops and fellowship for caregivers while supporting patients with movement, music, and memory activities. They also want to remind everyone that they offer at-home delivery services for patrons who can't visit the library in person. They're bringing back afternoon and weekend movies. And if you have any interest or something that you would like to share with the community, you can also reach out, and they have space there where you can hold meetings in their community room. All the information, details about it, everything I talked about can be found on their website and on their social media. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Dr. Addison, do you have a manager's report this month? Thank you. Okay, no old business on the agenda, so moving into new business.
All right, so the next motion on the agenda is for grant consulting services. As many people here are aware, the township has been actively pursuing and writing and successfully winning some grants. But it's taking a lot of effort from mostly me, with some assistance from our engineer and our treasurer. So we budgeted this year to have some assistance with that from an outside consultant. And that starts off with what's called a flex agreement service that allows them to come in and chat with us about our needs and then provide us with weekly updates on possible grant opportunities. And those grant opportunities could be everything from the police department to equipment for the township, to parks, to fire-related items, to sewer-related items. So it really does run the gamut of all township business that they provide grant information for. And then if we select a grant to pursue and we determine that we cannot pursue it based on our time and workload, we could enter into a different contract with them for them to actually write the grant for us. So this is just the initial consulting for the year. So I'd like to make a motion to enter into an agreement with Millennium Strategies for Flex Grant Consulting Services for the year in an amount not to exceed $5,000, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor Iacono and seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. Is there any discussion on the board, from the board on this? I guess my question on this is about how much effort does this look like for them? Are they going to be able to identify and work with us on a couple, or is this really looking at?
They can do as many as we want, and they have different plans that they offer to municipalities as far as what they offer. Like, we could do a flat rate for grant writing services, but since this is our first year using a sub-consultant, we figured we'd start low, and there's probably some that we can still tackle on our own. But there's some larger ones that require a lot of effort that they probably can assist with. So this is more of a trial for them. We'll get updates on a weekly basis, which is great because, our information is a little limited on what's out there. They, are providing a whole slew of opportunities on a weekly basis. So once we pick one, then we can make a determination as a board on whether we'll do it in-house or sub it out to them.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? From the public? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Salem Farms 2 escrow release number 4 and reduce the letter of credit by $49,758. Matt, can you give us a little update on this?
Surely, yes, the developer of the Salem Farm 2 development has submitted a 4th escrow release request. Encompassed work, drainage work, storm sewer work, driveway removal, and some installation of street trees. As mentioned, the release request is for $49,758. And if the board moves to approve this escrow release, there'll still be $160,256 left in the escrow account, which is certainly more than enough to complete any work which has not been completed to date.
Thanks, Matt.
Motion made by Supervisor D'Agostino. I will second. Supervisor Denny. Is there any other discussion from the board? From the public? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Rebecca Crowley as Bethel Township Secretary and Code Administrator at a salary of $41,000.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Derhinessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Any discussion from the board or the public? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I would like to make a motion to approve the Bethel Township holiday schedule with the correction of Martin Luther King Day as Monday, January 20th. Should I read them?
I don't think you need to read
Okay.
them. I'll second that motion.
Because a motion made by Supervisor Darren and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Sorry, you're going to say something.
No, I was just gonna make a comment that I think in doing 2025's reorganization, we should look at making sure we're trying to follow the county's holiday system. There's a few government holidays that the county lists that we're not abiding by, so just something to consider for next year.
Yeah, I think the discussion, my understanding was Juneteenth. Bill, and was there another one?
Election Day.
An election day was a flex
Maybe
day?
another one.
Yeah.
I can look at that.
No, it's just kind of curious. And then if we pass this motion, then these dates will be updated on the calendar on the website.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
I'm sorry, there was a motion. Was there?
Yeah, I seconded it.
There was a second. Okay. Is there any other discussion from the board, from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We also have on here the consideration of the PSATs delegate. I'm not sure if we want to move forward with that or table it.
I say let's just have the discussion. Like I said, I went last year to PSATs. We were talking in the budget. I think we have an allocation for one board member in addition to some of the other township staff that would go to the PSATs, which is the statewide supervisor kind of training. And I guess it's you make some contacts there with different types of services that could be provided for the township. So I think Giovanna, you, Stephanie, and myself all went last year. And I would, like I said, I'd step back for somebody else. So that would be Supervisor D'Agostino or Davey. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a conflict with my schedule. Unable to attend.
Okay, well, geez, brand new. And then Supervisor Iacono, I don't know your availability.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would be able to attend all the days of the conference. So I'd actually make a motion for you to be our PSATs delegate.
Okay. Well, before I hear a second on that, I don't know if you had that scheduled, something you were trying to go to.
It doesn't matter. Like I wouldn't mind. I would go if no one was gonna go, but I don't have to.
I think for me, I'd prefer you go. If I can get off of work and make it work, then I'll just go on my own. And then we can get up there. But if you feel confident you can make it, because I'm kind of in a similar with the Supervisor
Well, there's no
D'Agostino.
hard deadline. I mean, can we wait
Yeah.
until next month and do it?
The only issue I think
We need to
was-
start registration open today, so we
Yeah.
need to register for who's going.
I mean,
They need to book rooms.
Could just say, whoever's available, we're all fine with. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know
You can
that-
always book one room and
Yeah.
decide who's gonna
Yeah,
take it later, too, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm
that,
okay with waiting until later to determine schedules. If you
Okay.
want to do that,
just book a room and then change the name of the room whenever we figure it out.
because we don't need to give them that information in advance, right, Bill?
We do not.
So I make a motion to table that.
okay.
PSATs delegate.
I'll second that then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to announcements. So would you like to make that announcement first?
No, you. can-
Okay, yeah, so the announcement that's on the docket here is a presentation from Chester Valley Engineers on an update on the Schaefer Preserve to be held on January 28th, 2025 at 6:30 PM in this building. They have been contracted as the design consultant to take it from the schematic plan that Simone Collins had to final design. They have now taken a harder look at the stormwater as well as the overall cost of the project. Supervisor Iacono and myself have had maybe one or two meetings with them to try to refine the price and keep it low and also meet the requirements from both NALT and from the DCNR or the grant organization. There's some changes to the pathways, moving them further from people's properties. But we're hopeful that this is a meeting where neighbors and residents can go and look at it's a little bit further advanced than where it was before and get the comments on the table.
Will the presentation be posted online before the meeting so residents could have a chance to look at it before and come with questions?
We'll have to ask them. We're meeting with them this week to see where they are with everything.
Because
If they have it in
if it's
advance.
very detailed, I think it'd be good for residents to be able to see it online, then come with questions instead of
Yeah, if
having.
we can get it from them in advance, we'll certainly do
And if
that.
not, maybe just delay the presentation.
Yeah,
I think we should be able to get it.
I agree with Supervisor
Yes.
D'Agostino. Even if they feel like they can't give us everything, there should be, the conceptual plan should be there.
Should
Something
be
for them to
something.
digest. There's nothing worse than going to a meeting and that's your one kind of,
Yeah.
if you feel like that's your one bite of the apple.
Yeah.
Which it's not for this, but this
No,
is the
but
advancement.
I mean,
I think that's a great idea.
we're still 2 weeks away, so they should be able to give us something.
Supervisor D'Agostino, in your experience, what do you think? How much advance head notice or bill, what do you think we normally would give somebody? Where we say is we want to give the engineers enough time to get the best product online as possible, is like a 3-day advance appropriate?
Well, that's a Tuesday. I mean, could we put it up on the Friday before the 24th?
You asked for it in
I
advance.
just sent an email to the requesting to have a copy of it by Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So.
The Wednesday before the meeting.
Wednesday before the
Oh.
meeting. So if I do have it Wednesday, I'll be more than happy to put it on the website and say,
Yeah, and I mean, I also feel like if they had to make an update in that last week, I think people will be understanding, but looking at something is better
Yeah.
than nothing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Giovanna, I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
I have,
Some
I have
announcements.
another announcement for the recycling events if we're ready for that.
Sure.
So we've posted on the website the 2025 Bethel Township recycling events. The spring yard waste will be Monday, May 12th at curbside pickup. Spring paper shredding and drug take back Saturday, May 17th. The times have been changed from 9 to 11 on these. We used to go from 9 to 12, but the last hour was a little slower, so we cut down the times from 9 to 11. E-recycling Saturday, June 14th from 9 to 11. Fall paper shredding and drug take back Saturday, September 13th from 9 to 11. Fall leaf collection Monday, December 8th, curbside pickup, and Christmas tree recycling for the following year will be determined at a later date. I do know that we did get a request from a resident for an additional fall leaf collection, so I'll try and talk with Brett on that and see if that's something we can also throw in there. I think they wanted something a little bit earlier, which makes sense, or having 2 leaf collections.
I personally interpreted the email differently. I thought they were looking for like the vac truck to suck up the leaves.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I may have read that wrong, if that's what they're looking for another leaf date, that's not a big.
We'll take a
that's not
look
big
and
issue.
I'll chat with Brett and see where we land with that.
Usually the big and L pickup, we never pick that stuff up.
The leaves?
The ladies, we never pick that up, I was big and L, it's that and a Christmas tree.
We
Yeah.
have
Is that in the- is that
lawn
in the-
waste in the bid package. So.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that and see how many, was it just one, do you
I
know?
don't know if it was 1 or 2. I think it was it 2, Bill? Do you remember?
leaf pickup,
Yeah,
I believe it was one way.
it was
All
1.
right, well, we'll take a look at that and follow back up if we can add another day.
Hmm.
That's the announcement for the recycling.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, I wanted to talk about the Christmas tree pickup that happened last week. Approximately 150 to 200 trees were picked up, which weighed 2.29 tons, and they were taken to Delco Mulch and Supply in Upper Darby and turned into mulch. So it's a successful event.
Yeah, not in the landfill. That's good. Any other announcements? Any other comments from the board? Or from the public?
Ed Plasher, 1019 Belmont Lane. When you were given the school board report, it reminded me that Bethel residents pay a premium for the Delaware County Community College. And I wasn't sure if we could ask either the school or Delaware County to report out, how do they know when our kids go to Delaware County Community College to get that reduced tuition? Do they have to ask, or is it all based on the address? And maybe they could even come report how many Bethel kids go to the Delaware County Community College and get that benefit. We're the only municipality that does it. Concord doesn't fund it. Chester Heights does not, but Bethel does. It's always been a black hole as to whether our kids actually really get a good benefit from the community college. So,
It might be good to post that out on the website too.
but we ought to know a little bit about how it works also. And the community college would be helpful to report out on that. So, Just a thought.
Potentially,
do know a little bit about.
would you mind, I'm sorry, but would you mind getting up and stating your name and address?
Both of my children went to Delaware County Community
I-
College.
I'm sorry, could I get your name and address as well?
Tina Wallace, 3809 Falk Road.
Thank you.
Both of my kids went to Delaware County Community College. They both got a discount, a tremendous discount for school. And I would honestly say it was well worth it. And I do know it works. They do require proof of by taxes. So if you show that you pay the taxes in Bethel Township, then they approve it. That's all you really need.
Great. So
it
that's
does
it.
work. It
It's,
does.
and your concern is what,
He wants to know how many.
I think it's great. My comment isn't that it's not working. I'd like to know how well it's working from the community college, because you might have been aware of that, somebody else, their kid might not be aware. Like, I just think we ought to get more data from the community college. Let's see.
Well, I agree.
I think that's great.
I agree, but they do list it.
Yeah.
You have to kind of do a little bit of your own research when you're paying for college.
Yeah.
That they actually have it listed that Bethel Township does have a special program with Delaware County Community College. And they do have it listed, but most people may not think to even look, you know? So, but it is there and it is available to, it's actually wonderful for kids.
Yeah, good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Is there any other comments from the public? Hi.
Wear glasses this time.
That's cool.
For safer on my face, don't get broke, that's the one punch. James McDaniel, 1415 Zebby Road East. The mention about the leaves. I always hear about leaves being picked up. I never hear about a burn ordinance. I got nitwits in my community like to burn leaves first thing Sunday morning in a burn barrel. If you go on Concord Township's website, I'm not sure now. I've been on both of them, the fire company and the township. They're very specific. And the lady told me at the administration office, and I can't tell you who I was talking to, other than she answered the phone, and she said it's very enforceable. Okay? She said she could recommend me to their fire marshal. Brett, you're dropping the ball on this. We don't have a burn permit. You sit there, you don't say nothing when they say about picking up leaves. Do we burn leaves? Is that allowed?
I'll say, Brett pushed for a burn ordinance. I don't know, a year ago maybe, or 2 years ago. And I might even have a draft of one. I don't know why it fell by the wayside, Jim.
Because I've looked on the internet, I've called different townships and they say they're very enforceable. That stuff about the state overriding that stuff. in their
That's what
eyes,
that's might have been
Well,
why we,
There was a change in the law.
something
Well,
regulation
then if it's
wise.
a change in law, somebody dropped the ball. Okay?
I do remember Brett did bring
Because I'll
it
tell
to
you,
us.
when you get up and people start burning leaves, it reminds me of a movie they put on TV many years ago. Next thing I'm thinking about is banjo playing. Burning leaves and trash around the house. This is modern day.
Is your position that you would see a complete burn ban?
Sure, why not? Everybody else has it.
So no select days for leaf burning?
Well, Concord Township has that.
What's
Select days.
your opinion on that?
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know. That's not my expertise, but we have nothing.
yeah,
And we'll tell you what, with tax increases, we're paying premium money in this township. Okay, those of us that pay taxes. And I won't go there. But somebody's dropped the ball. I don't know. You don't have the authority. You tell them, don't say nothing. I don't know.
yeah, I'd like to look at a burn ordinance.
It's ridiculous. Get up Sunday morning, people burn trash. Yeah, burning trash.
Well, I don't think that's, well, yeah, right, it has to be clarified in the ordinance on what you can burn.
A few years ago, I almost got put back in a police car because I kept calling the fire company over a jackass in the backyard burning all the time. And, I don't understand why other townships had them years ago. I tell you, Concord Township has one of the best. It has the Chad's Ford and the other two on their website, and it's real Pacific. Real Pacific. It don't seem like it's that hard. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Yes.
Yes,
Should we do her name now?
I have a question to the board. My name's Tina Wallace. I am 3809 Falk Road. I had a letter by your zoning officer in regards to 3809. It's actually 3809/11 Falk Road. It is a two-family single home. He had told me that if I desired to convert the use to a duplex, that I would have to file papers, pay $800 and go before the board. Now, my question to this is, why would I have to go before the board to have it listed as a duplex when it's been a duplex since I can hardly remember in the 1970s? When the property was purchased, it was listed that way. And even and he was telling me there's no 3811. Well, honestly, tell that to the post office, to the electric company, to the water company, to the gas company, everyone. There's 3811. And he told me it doesn't exist. So my question is, why do I have to do something like this when it's always been there? It's non-conforming use.
Well, so I guess I'd say a couple things, and I'm shooting in the dark a little bit.
Go ahead.
But the first thing I'd say is the zoning officer has the power under the municipality's planning code to make determinations of whether something is compliant with the zoning code or not. And then an appeal can be made to the zoning hearing board. And also an application for, you could do them as alternative relief. An appeal because you think he made the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
And the request for a variance is any alternative if, they find that he didn't make the right decision. But that's really the way the municipality's planning code works.
Well,
As far as pre-existing nonconformities, they have to be legal nonconformities. And without looking at this, maybe that, I would say that maybe that's the determination that he made was that the zoning never allowed that there. So even if it was there, it was never a pre-existing, it never conformed. So in order for something to be a pre-existing nonconformity, it has to be conforming, and then there's a change in the law and it becomes non.
okay, I understand your laws. This was non-conforming use for many years. Whether he knew it or not, I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know the man. But I showed him evidence. It was listed under several different papers that I had given him. One of them, I think it was the trying to remember exactly who it was. I have it in here. But I even have it when the deed was written up on the property. When it was purchased, my mother-in-law lived in one side of it for a good amount of time and rented the other side out. That's a two-family residence. Now, whether when the board came to be, when all these things came to be, because I know this township didn't have all these things in place back in the early 70s.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's many years ago. We're going back 50 years. She lived there for many years. She rented it out. I have evidence of all this.
And has it consistently been used?
Yes.
Like today? It's used
Yes, well, right now I have one side vacant. I had done a lot of work. And when she passed, I had to replace appliances. I had to have a new heater put in. The woman was very old. She could not keep up with it. I had to have new steps put in. This is a very old 200-year-old home. So the old circular steps, they were shot, so I had to hire special people who knew how to build these steps and have them all reconstructed. I went through a lot of trouble to make this home a livable home. And then to tell me that I can't do something because he chose not to do it, I don't think that's fair to me or my family. The taxes are high, yes. Everything's high here. And for us to try to pay the taxes and maintain the home the way it should be. Okay, it's historical. It was a Zebley house. To put that on us that way, just because what he thinks, I don't think that's fair to any of us. I am willing to have inspections done. I did have the one side inspection done. It's fine. He had not a problem with anything. The other side, I could not have it inspected simply because I wasn't finished with it. I had a little bit more work to do.
Can we just suggest maybe you review what's been, since we're not familiar with it, and then
Yes.
maybe provide her own guidance on what her next options are?
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm so frustrated with all of it that I feel like I just need to get the name of your solicitor and go find a lawyer.
That's him.
Oh, okay, you're the solicitor, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I
So
didn't know.
maybe you guys can connect and get contact info after the meeting.
Yeah, and
then-
I'll be happy to show him what I do have. I haven't pulled everything out because I did have a move from one home to another. And of course, I have to pull out everything, after moving, you have to dig.
But if I may ask, you've already presented all that material to
No,
the
I do
zoning
not
board?
have all of it presented.
She went to-
Because, as I said before, I moved, and as I was moving, of course, I had children helping me. And their idea of moving is toss everything into a crate and throw it in a corner somewhere. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing, is going through crates of things, trying to find my life again back, because I've lost a lot of stuff with the kids packing my things.
So, yeah, I mean, this board appoints the zoning board
Right.
because they have an expertise and understanding, you
But
know.
I just don't think he understood.
Well,
It
there's,
has been rented out all these years. My mother-in-law was very elderly. She started to she had emphysema, so, and COPD, so she had trouble breathing at times. So living in that house and everything, at times, as independent as she is, she should have had a little help,
Mhm.
But I don't recall any letter of anything coming to her, and I went through a lot when she passed, that stated that she had to have her place inspected and all that. I didn't see anything.
and this is the zoning officer you're speaking about,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never saw nothing.
and that's a different entity than the board.
Right, well, I just feel like I should bring this up to you
Mhm.
to make you aware of what's going on and how I feel frustrated over it.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of really blown away by it all. I put a lot of time and effort into trying to fix this house and make it nice. And I just feel like it's just it's a slap in the face.
Understood. And so, Mike, do you want a suggestion that you had, would that help get you there if the solicitor is saying,
I'll be
hey,
more than happy to talk to him.
I'm just, the first thing I would request is that you gather whatever you want me to look at, get it to Bill, and then I'll take a look at it and then we can.
Well,
sign it back from there.
I have to go back and get the copies of the old leases that she had, because when she passed, of course, being 80 some years old, she started dumping things in trash bags and throwing them at it. And I'm having to go through all that. But I have a lot of stuff that I had found that I could show him, he could look at it, but it will show that this was 3809/11 Falk Road. It was 2 residences. And I wanted him aware of that, even though under the tax papers in the courthouse, it shows 3809 Zebley, which we kind of laugh at because we're like, where did they get Zebley? Except that Zebley owned it at one point, and it's on the corner of Zebley and Falk Road,
okay,
which is, I mean, I can't argue with the tax people up there. They'll just give me the runaround, I think, anyway, but I do have papers here. He can have a look if he likes.
okay,
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks. Any other comments from the public? Okay, I'd be looking for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to it.
I just thought the address that man was talking about, is that on Fork Road, just you go down to Delaware?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been in Savage Corner 52 years, 50 years, 48 years. That's always been a 2 resident house. The one next to me, apartment, it's now apartment, somebody got away with a lot of stuff there. That used to be his son downstairs, his mother upstairs, now it's at apartment A and B. So if you're gonna do one to one person, let's do it to everybody. But that was always been two people in that, two different residents, all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion made, seconded by Supervisor Darren Hessian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Can you do that for me?
Are we done streaming?